to take something from Rush Limbaugh. No, hello and welcome to The Good, the Bad, and the Orange. This is our podcast from our little brokerage and our participation of our people. And we're here to tell people about life in Arizona, what it's like to move here, what it takes to move here, what's the fun of Arizona, what's the pitfalls of Arizona. And with me today, I have two of my esteemed associates. Eric Long, not Eric Long of I Own Long Realty, but he wishes he did. And Brittany Workman, who has as much energy as the shirt she's wearing at all times. And so we're here to answer questions from the Moving to Arizona page. So that group, it's a private group actually, that we created a couple of years ago. Moving to Arizona, sponsored by Long Realty Jasper Associates, just because there are other Moving to Arizona pages, but not as good as ours. And we get lots of great questions because people, have misconceptions about Arizona, and so we're here to answer those questions from the members of the group. If you'd like to, go look on Facebook, you can find it and join. So as we go through today, we've picked a couple of questions to start with that we think are, relevant, have been asked a few times, and are those that hopefully we have the answers to. The first one, so let's talk about, I think that when I look at people and they join, it's like, what are you looking forward to in Arizona? Probably one of the number one things is hiking. We think that this is a great place to hike, get out in the fresh air, and climb a mountain, and so Brittany is a very avid hiker. Eric, do you hike?
Hike, backpack.
Yeah, I hike. Not so much in July or August, but I've even done that. So people say, well, how do I find a great place to hike, and what are the criteria for what's a great hike? And so what, Brittany, as we open that up, what do you think? What's your thoughts on that?
I think that we are in the desert, so we're always trying to go to where the water is. So one of the most epic hikes I've done is Grand Falls. It is so beautiful. It's this huge waterfall, and it turns to like chocolate when it comes down. It's so big.
Dark chocolate or milk?
Yes, yeah. Milk chocolate, dark chocolate.
It does. It looks like Nesquik.
Uh-huh. But, hikes like that you can find. Have you guys heard of All Trails?
Yes, All Trails is a great website. So at the end of this, we'll post maybe a few of our sites for on the podcast at the bottom. We'll post some great websites for you to find hikes because it ranks them. So we all think, oh, I'm a moderate hiker. Till you see what moderate is, and then you might go, maybe I'm a beginning hiker. So where is that? Where is the milk chocolate hike?
It's up past Flagstaff, right? You've been to, right, Eric?
No, I've only seen pictures. It's on my to-do list.
Yeah, it's such a long time ago.
Yeah.
I did it.
Well, and we look at the valley. There are literally hundreds and hundreds of hikes. So we're up here in North Scottsdale, and for instance, Pinnacle Peak is probably one of the most popular. In fact, it's almost like a freeway between people who run it, who are crazy, people who are avid regular hikers and have to catch their breath every now and then, those that think that hiking is a novel idea and they wear shoes that are like flip-flops or something, and then they have to be almost airlifted off. And the ones who bring their strollers and now dogs aren't allowed anymore because that got ruined by those that wouldn't pick up their doggy poop.
Mm-hmm. Those hikes can be so amazing too because of the vegetation that the desert has to offer. Like during the spring we did Pinnacle on Easter morning after church, and it was just so colorful.
Yeah, and it's amazing how far you can see. So you get a different perspective on where you're living. Mm-hmm. And you can see all of I call them the lifestyles of the rich and famous neighborhoods. Oh, look what they're doing down there in their 10,000 square foot house. But go ahead.
I think the greatest thing about the valley in particular is the draw to the range of hiking. You can go hiking in Papago Park around the boulders, all the way up to backpacking through the Superstitions, and those are within an hour of the valley, short drive. Of course, we have Camelback. To touch on your point about not hiking in July, I've seen a lot of people asking on both the Hiking in Arizona page and our page recommendations for good trails. Very, very strongly recommend wait for the beautiful 9 months of weather we have, not the 2.5 months of sweltering heat. It's like weekly Phoenix Fire Department is pulling people off of Camelback, and it may be 78 in the morning when you get up at 7. That heat comes up quick.
Yes.
And if you're not, the acclimatization is a thing. If you're not acclimatized to this weather, it'll zap you before you even realize.
Being from the great state of Minnesota, where most people are still unthawing when they come here, they go and say, hey, I'm going to go on a hike. And they go, and they bring their one bottle of Kirkland water, and they go, I'm good. And what happens, you dehydrate. I think that's the thing that I didn't realize, I've been here 11, going on 12 years, is how much moisture we lose just by the fact that, in most times of the year, the humidity levels are like 12%. And even in the summer when we're sweating and it's 40%, if you're up in the upper Midwest or other parts of the country, it could be 70, 80, 90%. So your body's not losing anything.
You sweat differently here too. When it's 100 degrees, you may not feel like you're sweating,
Right.
but that's just because that moisture is evaporating that much quicker. So you don't even realize how much moisture you're losing, as opposed to when it's humid and you feel soggy. You can feel yourself working.
Well, and one of the benefits of that, though, is, so you're hiking and you're taking a break, and in your backpack you've got a little bottle of Patron and a lime. All you gotta do is lick your arm because there's so much salt there. It's a plus. It's a benefit. No, you didn't like? Okay, sorry.
I'll do it.
Not me though.
That's for when you return to the trail.
Yes, at the bottom.
Another amazing plug for finding these Arizona hiking places is Facebook group Arizona Hiking.
Yep.
These people are true hikers. You'll learn about all these different water hikes, all the different hikes, and safety updates. Like, hey guys, I saw a rattlesnake. It's rattlesnake season. Make sure you leash your dog on this trail or this trail. And it tells you all the directions. They'll give you GPS coordinates, where to find permits, Facebook.
That's a great point, because there's a lot of fantastic trails that are not your typical trail. I'm using air quotes. In the meaning that they're not maintained by a state park or national park or anything. They're what one would consider a game trail that people hike. So yeah, Brittany's right. The people have really good updated, info on those trails and what's going on. Even if trees have downed or they've had a rock or mudslide. So.
Well, and the other place I think people, if you're not part of it when you move here, is Nextdoor. I found that if you want to learn about your local area and hike anything, literally anything, why your neighbor is creepy. There's some things they post. But hiking, there are people that will tell you, hey, I just hiked this trail, and and then others will feed in on that. So it's getting involved. The one thing I've learned about Arizona is, in Minnesota, their Nextdoor really wasn't a thing, and group these meetup groups and all this stuff, that wasn't really a thing. But here, people go, how do I connect with people? It's amazing if you just decide to. It's like the Moving to Arizona page. It's like the hiking one you mentioned. If you start to get involved in some of those groups, you'll learn more than you possibly would ever want to know. And as someone moving from the outside in, you can get acclimated a lot quicker. So anyhow, that anything else on hiking that you can think of? As far as equipment, or do you have a stick? Do you hike with a stick?
Oh yes.
No, I hike with my feet.
Ha. One last thing I'll say is you get into mid-northern Arizona, there are other things to look out other than snakes, and of course that's bears and
Mountain lions.
and all that stuff. So you always have to be aware of where you're hiking and who you're hiking with. And if you're having a picnic lunch, like Yogi Bear would say, you would want to help out, so be careful.
And that's a good point to bring up, that Arizona is more than just the desert and golf courses. We're a very diverse ecology. We have aspen groves, some subalpine regions in the north. You do have to know what you're getting into when you go to a different part of the state.
Yeah.
Watch out for those squirrels, okay? They will most definitely eat through your tent. When you're sitting, taking a break, grabbing some water, your nuts may disappear from your pack quickly.
Is that from personal experience?
Maybe, yes.
Well, again, we'll post a few sites that you can go to as far as finding great places to hike. And if you subscribe to us, you'll get more of those types of tidbits on a regular basis, free of charge. So as we went through our list again of questions and things people ask, I think right now we just went through the primary season here in Arizona, where our beautiful landscape that has down lighting and no street lights and beautiful swirl cactus becomes the land of political signs like I have never seen anywhere. It's amazing that is the one thing they're allowed, and there are just like thousands of them. And of course then there are the ones that are vandalized, and then there's the ones that are blown down when the monsoon comes through. But I think there's a lot of questions about what is it really like here. So, one of the things I always perceived was that Arizona was the wild, wild west. And it kind of is, in a way. But, there are people that go, is it civilized? Are there blacktop roads? Is Yosemite Sam running around with his 6 shooters? And for those who are young, Google Yosemite Sam. It was a Looney Tunes cartoon back in our day. But, I think that isn't necessarily true. And, there was this talk about it becoming a purple state. I don't know that that's necessarily true either. I think Arizona is very unique in many ways. That Arizonans are kind of like live and let live. They're like, I'll do my thing, you do yours. Don't make me do your thing, and I won't make you do mine. And so that to me isn't really, that isn't a bad thing, that's a good thing. I think that's where people can come here and thrive. But what are your guys' thoughts? You just watched all this.
There's nothing like putting a bunch of flimsy politician signs out during monsoon season. No, a lot of people, I've met very few people that were born and raised in Arizona. That vast majority of people I meet came here from somewhere, whether it's a year, 5 years, 19 years ago.
Covered wagon.
But they came here from somewhere, and I think they came here for a reason, not to change Arizona, but to escape something from where they came from, or to just come for the weather. But I think it's really neat right here in Phoenix and Scottsdale. You don't have to get too far out of downtown to find horse property,
right,
or agricultural. You go to Glendale, and right next to the one of the casinos is a big farm, and you'll see horses riding down the street.
Well, there's still parts of Paradise Valley that still is equestrian, and what do you think? Because you're not native, are you?
I'm not. I've been here about 10, 11 years. Even.
I was always told 20 years makes you a native.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not there either.
But I think the energy of each area 100% changes, right? Are you in downtown, Old Town Scottsdale, where there's a bunch of amazing restaurants, or are you up in Cave Creek, where they have buffalo chip and the bull riding shows? Energy, Gilbert is different than downtown Phoenix. So you definitely see the politics follow that as well.
Yeah, Cave Creek, the town with 1,000 rusty rusty yard
Yard art.
art pieces you can buy. I think that is true. I think that Eric's point was valid as well. People move here for a reason. It isn't, maybe now more it's starting to be because of jobs. They get corporate transfer, or there's so much new job opportunity with our tech growth. But for other reasons, people, and I don't know if it's necessarily escaping, but it's when I sell a house, for instance, to someone from the Midwest, so it could be Ohio or Minnesota or let's say Boise or somewhere like that, they come in and they want to live different. They go, I don't want, we'll look at houses, then you'll find one that's very slightly Midwestern, and they'll go, I don't want this. I want to get all new furniture, and I want to live in Arizona. I want to be in Arizona. And they view that as really a dramatic change from wherever they've been, whether it just be decor or food or that lifestyle piece. They look at it as being wildly different, and I think that's what makes Arizona really a great state. Is people came here to be kind of find the new frontier, and that's the danger, I guess, when you have masses come, is they sometimes will want to bring maybe some things that they didn't like from their own place, and that they've. I think that's pretty clear. You see the bumper stickers, don't Californize my Arizona, or don't whatever. And I think that's really, some people will take that as offensive, but it's not. It's just saying, we have a great place. You're welcome. Everyone's welcome here. I think that's the one thing. It has been a true melting pot from around the country, east to west coast.
Well,
and
I laugh because I see, a lot of the major states people go to: Florida, Texas, Arizona, Idaho, Nevada, right? More conservative states. I laugh. I have a lot of realtor friends in Texas, and they post stuff up. They'll post one thing on their social media of "Don't California my Texas." Then they're posting, "This is what 500,000 gets you in El Paso." Well, if Californians see that, because what 500,000 will get you in California versus what 500,000 will get you in El Paso, Texas,
okay,
that's enough to draw me to move. So,
but it's El Paso.
right, but you can't have one without the other. You can't sit here, like, we're very open, and hey, let us help you.
Yeah.
Give us your questions. We're here to help you. I moved 3 years ago here. I wish I had somebody to answer all these questions. But you can't sit here and say, "Don't California" or "Don't New York my Arizona," but then want people to move here.
Well, I would wholeheartedly agree. It is a welcoming spot, and we see these pockets of people. Actually, see the Canadians, our resident Canadian couldn't be in here today, but Canadians will flock to a certain area. So everyone likes to be with their own kind, let's say, but they still have come here to enjoy the lifestyle and the frontier. So there's nothing wrong with either one of those.
And we're super close to the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
So people are happy here. I mean, I get excited when it rains in monsoons because it's always sunny here, and that's something that we truly value, and I think a lot of people really do.
It's a testament to getting vitamin D. The sunshine does wondrous things. And like I said, the biggest complaint you hear, I couldn't handle 100 degrees. It's like, it's 3 months. Then you get 9 months of amazing weather.
It's good for the skin. It clears the pores. Well, we've got one of our Supreme leaders, Amanda, giving me that hook sign, and she's like, "Don't talk about me." So we're going to wrap up our first official podcast with thank you. We would like you to subscribe and ask questions, because our goal here is to answer people's questions. And we're going to venture out of I would call it the reactionary version of podcast, which is just looking at questions and answering them, and start getting into topics as we go down the road. One of the things we've talked that we will have an episode on and some experts on is the water situation. It's not a light subject that we can take 25 minutes of our podcast or 10 and cover. But any other thing else, send us a message. You can even do it on our website. If you go to longrealtydcranch.com and there's a place, send a message there. Join our Facebook page at Moving to Arizona, send a message there or post a question. And again, post your questions on YouTube. So as we wrap up to our music that's wrapping this up, we've got new music. Oh, we don't have that yet, but we will eventually. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being one of our first 1 million listeners. We're not quite there yet, but we will be. And remember, orange is truth, because without truth, there is no trust. Have a great day.